Homes are living museums. Every beam, every doorway, every little feature carries a story about the people who built it and the way they lived. And in America, homes have always evolved alongside our culture, shaped by technology, shaped by convenience, and shaped by the dream of a better life. But some features that once defined the American home have vanished completely. Today, on You Remember, we're looking back at 10 old home features that have faded into history. From iceboxes that needed daily attention, to milk doors where your groceries magically appeared, to dumbwaiters that once did the heavy lifting. Iceboxes. Long before refrigerators were humming in every American kitchen, families relied on the icebox. Picture this. It's the early 1900s. A horse-drawn wagon pulls up to your street. The iceman steps out, carrying a massive block of ice with iron tongs. He hauls it into your kitchen and carefully slides it into a heavy wooden cabinet lined with metal. That's your refrigerator. It worked, but barely. Ice melted constantly, water dripped into pans that had to be emptied, and food spoiled quickly. Still, for generations of Americans, the icebox was the center of kitchen life. By the 1930s and 40s, electric refrigerators began taking over, and within a decade, the Iceman, once a familiar neighborhood figure, was gone. The icebox faded into memory, though some Americans still call their fridge the icebox to this day. 2. Transom windows. Before air conditioning cooled our summers, Americans had to be clever about airflow. Enter the transom window. These were small, hinged windows above doorways, common in homes built in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. They let air circulate through hallways and upstairs bedrooms, even when doors were closed. In a time when summers meant stifling heat and winters relied on coal stoves, these windows were lifesavers. They also allowed natural light to brighten otherwise dark hallways. But as central heating and cooling transformed American comfort, transoms lost their purpose. Many were nailed shut, painted over, or simply left out of newer homes. Today, when you spot one in an old row house or Victorian, it's a reminder of how Americans once fought heat with ingenuity, not electricity. 3. Parlors. No feature captures the old American home quite like the parlor. In the Victorian era, the parlor was the most important room in the house. It was the stage for social life. Families gathered here for music, storytelling, and Sunday visits. Guests were welcomed into the parlor to see the family's best furniture and prized possessions. But the parlor also had a more solemn role. It was often the place where deceased loved ones were laid out for viewing before funerals. By the early 20th century, as American life grew more informal, the living room replaced the parlor. Radios and later televisions became the new centerpieces. The shift from parlor to living room wasn't just about furniture. It reflected a cultural move toward relaxation and entertainment, a more casual vision of American life. 4th, servants' quarters. Many large American homes from the late 1800s to the early 1900s included servants' quarters. These separate rooms, often tucked into attics or rear wings, housed live-in staff like cooks, maids, or nannies. There were often separate staircases and hallways so that staff could move around discreetly, keeping the household running without disrupting the family's privacy. But after World War I and the Great Depression, live-in domestic help became less common. Modern appliances like washing machines and vacuum cleaners replaced the need for staff, and the servants' quarters faded away. Today, when we tour historic American mansions, those hidden staircases and tiny upstairs rooms feel like ghostly reminders of a divided domestic world. 5. Washstands and pitchers. Before indoor plumbing revolutionized hygiene, every American bedroom relied on a washstand. It was usually a wooden table with a porcelain basin and a pitcher of water. Each morning, you'd pour water into the basin, splash your face, and carefully wash up. It was messy, inconvenient, and cold in the winter, but it was the standard. Only the wealthiest homes had piped water before the late 1800s. When indoor plumbing finally spread across America in the early 20th century, the washstand quickly became an antique. What once was a daily ritual is now a quaint relic found in museums and antique shops. 6. Coal chutes. To heat an American home in the late 1800s or early 1900s, you didn't turn a dial on the wall. You shoveled coal. Homes were built with coal chutes, small doors on the side of the house. Coal delivery men would pour black chunks through the chute straight into the basement. Families would shovel it into the furnace throughout the winter. It was dirty, dusty, and backbreaking work, but it kept homes warm. By the mid-20th century, oil and gas furnaces took over, and coal chutes became obsolete. Today, you might still see mysterious bricked-over doors near the foundations of old American houses. That was once the lifeline for heat. 7. Knob and tube wiring. Electricity transformed American homes, but the earliest wiring systems look almost alien today. Knob and tube wiring, common from the 1880s to the 1930s, used ceramic knobs to hold wires and ceramic tubes to guide them through walls. It was revolutionary, bringing light and power into homes. But it had big limitations. It couldn't handle the heavy load of modern appliances, and over time, insulation deteriorated, creating fire hazards. Electricians now spend hours ripping it out of century-old houses. Still, for historians, knob and tube represents the dawn of electrification, a moment when America lit up for the very first time. 8. Milk doors. Once upon a time, the milkman was as dependable as the mailman. And the secret to that smooth delivery? The milk door. These small, double-sided doors were built into kitchens or sidewalls. The milkman would open the outside panel, place fresh bottles inside, and the homeowner would retrieve them from the inside panel. Empty bottles went back in the same way. It was a perfect system for freshness and convenience. But by the 1950s, with supermarkets and home refrigerators, milk delivery disappeared almost overnight. Today, when people renovate older homes, they sometimes discover these little doors sealed shut in the wall, a forgotten portal to a bygone daily routine. 9. Butler's pantries. In grand American homes, the butler's pantry was the nerve center between the kitchen and dining room. Stocked with china, crystal, and silver, it allowed servants to prepare and stage meals before presenting them. It wasn't just storage, it was about the performance of dining, the ritual of serving. As middle-class homes grew and formal dining declined, butler's pantries fell out of style. Open-concept kitchens erased the line between cooking and serving. Interestingly, in recent years, modern prep kitchens and walk-in pantries have brought back the idea. Proof that some old features never truly die, they just evolve. 10. Dumbwaiters. These small elevators, powered by pulleys and ropes, carried food, laundry, or supplies between floors. In urban boarding houses and big homes, they were lifesavers. Instead of climbing stairs with trays or baskets, you loaded the dumbwaiter and pulled a rope. The name might sound insulting, but it simply meant silent waiter. As household staff declined and technology shifted, dumbwaiters disappeared from homes. But you can still find modern versions in some restaurants and older apartment buildings. They remain a quirky symbol of convenience in a pre-digital world. Each of these features, the icebox, the milk door, the dumbwaiter, once defined American homes. They were practical, they were social, they were cultural. And when they faded away, they told us just as much about progress as they did about the past. They remind us that a home isn't just a place to live. It's a reflection of American life in every era. One day, our dishwashers, smart thermostats, or even Wi-Fi routers might seem just as quaint. And future generations will look back at our modern homes with the same curiosity we now have for knob and tube wiring or washstands. That's the beauty of history. It's always being written, even in the walls around us. You've been watching You Remember? If you love uncovering the forgotten stories of American life, don't forget to subscribe for more.